GamingBolt presents 15 things you need to know before you buy Onrush. Though Codemasters is more known for its realistic racers, the upcoming Onrush is unlike anything seen before. It's more arcadey, action-packed, and does plenty of things that aren't seen in racers today. Trust us on this one. Onrush simply isn't like a lot of racing titles you've played thus far. In case you still don't know whether it's worth picking up or not, let's take a look at 15 things to know before buying Onrush. DRIVECLUB and MOTORSTORM developer. While the MOTORSTORM influence is pretty obvious given the various kinds of vehicles racing and brawling with each other, several developers who worked on DRIVECLUB are also on board. The game director for Onrush, Paul Rushchinsky, also directed DRIVECLUB, for instance. He also arguably played a big part in steering that game straight when it suffered a massive delay and the original director, Cole Rogers, left. 8 vehicle classes. As you've probably noticed, Onrush has a variety of vehicle classes. There are actually 8 vehicles in total with names like Blade, Outlaw, Charger, Vortex, Interceptor, Dynamo, Titan, and Enforcer. Each vehicle has its own stats, but also feature a unique loadout with one rush skill, an ability, and a unique trait. The Interceptor, for instance, can earn more rush directly by performing near misses. Specializing in certain vehicle classes will also help in given situations. Swapping classes. What if you're not sure if the given class is performing well? In Onrush, it's possible to switch classes during a race. Need a support-oriented rush skill? Go with Dynamo and provide boost to nearby allies with the Energize skill every time the rush gauge is used. Given the game's team-oriented nature, having a balanced composition of different vehicle classes will win the day. To that end, learn to swap if you want to up your chances of victory. Stampede system. The Stampede system is one key aspect that sets Onrush apart from other racers. During races, you'll be competing with enemy cars controlled by actual human racers. However, there will also be AI opponents mixed in. Dubbed fodder, these cars are essentially there to allow for building the rush gauge and staying in the mix, even if your human adversaries prove too much to handle. Takedowns. Takedowns will be familiar to fans of the Burnout series. Simply put, ram into other cars to take them down. Depending on the class of car, a takedown can serve multiple functions. Aside from taking down fodder and other racers alike, thus providing some breathing room, takedowns also contribute to your boost meter. Take down more vehicles, earn more boost, and use that boost to ultimately build your rush gauge. Abilities. With all this talk of the rush gauge, let's finally get into what it is. Think of it as an ultimate or a super meter. Boosting, which is built up by performing tricks and takedowns, builds the rush gauge. Activate the rush gauge, and depending on the vehicle class, it's possible to activate all kinds of crazy effects. Blind trailing opponents with the Interceptor, drop blockades as the Titan, or simply bulldoze through enemies with Charger. Loot crates. Yes, Onrush has loot crates, and yes, they're governed by RNG. However, they're not purchased with real money. Instead, challenges and level ups will grant these loot crates, and they'll simply give cosmetics like victory poses for your driver. There won't be any microtransactions at launch, but don't be surprised if Codemasters offers a more direct route to purchasing desired cosmetics down the line. No starting or finishing line. Races, simply put, do not have a start or finish line. Instead, all racers are simply thrown into the mix and start racing for survival. Depending on the mode, there are various rounds to a single race that must be completed. Typically, the team with the most points is the one that emerges victorious. No positions. To that end, Onrush doesn't have any positions either. There's no first, second, or third place, so if you're lagging behind, don't worry. Onrush is all about being in the thick of things rather than surging ahead, though that also has advantages since some vehicle classes can use rush skills on those behind them. Anyway, if you fall behind at certain points, you'll automatically be thrown back into the pack by failing to catch up in time. Team-based affair. As noted earlier, Onrush is a team-oriented game. While there is a campaign with 100 events to complete, it's all about the matches where 2 teams of 6 battle it out. Takedowns and wrecks are a major part of your stats, but so are the number of assists pulled off and the score earned. Knowing which vehicles synergize well with each other, helping each other out, and generally playing like a unit will lead to more wins. 4 event modes. Onrush consists of 4 different event modes: Lockdown, Overdrive, Switch, and Countdown. Overdrive involves building up your combo meter through tricks and boosting. First team to hit the score limit wins the round. Countdown is about hitting gates for additional time, while Lockdown is like King of the Hill on wheels as teams fight over a single zone as it appears. Stay in the zone longer and accrue more points. Switch sees players starting on bikes and upgrades them to larger vehicles every time they lose a life. Protecting your weaker teammates is paramount, or you can hunt down the weaker opponents. Photo Mode. If you're familiar with DRIVECLUB's photo mode, then the one in Onrush will feel extremely familiar. However, it will feature more freedom than DRIVECLUB and more options according to the director. It's not difficult to pause the action in the middle of the race, take a dramatic photo, and then pop right back in when you're done. Players have already reported slightly longer post-processing, but images do look sharper as a result. Pre-order and Deluxe Edition bonuses. Pre-ordering Onrush has the usual benefits: 48 hours early access to the ongoing beta, which should be finished by now, and a unique Day 1 edition buggy design for Vortex. However, those who pick up the Deluxe Edition will net 8 exclusive iconic gold and black vehicle designs, along with 2 exclusive tombstones and a deluxe crash tag. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One players will both receive 8 additional vehicle designs, making for 17 vehicle designs overall on Day 1. Xbox One X and PS4 Pro settings. As the recent beta indicated, Onrush is capable of running at 60 FPS. It's possible to run at either 4K or 60 FPS on both the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. However, the Xbox One X will have a higher pixel count and better textures. The Xbox One X version's resolution is still unclear, but expected to be the superior version when Onrush releases. Release date. Perhaps the craziest part about Onrush is its release date, which is June 5th for the Xbox One and PS4. That's roughly 1 week before E3 2018, not to mention a few days before major publishers like EA and Bethesda kickstart their own press conferences. We can't fault Codemasters for their boldness, but will it pay off when all the attention is elsewhere? We'll find out in the coming weeks. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from GamingBolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.